A week after our 6-year relationship ended, my ex brought another man home, ate the dinner I cooked, and asked, "Can he stay the night?" I should have said no. Instead, I stood beside the kitchen counter, staring at Nicole and the man waiting awkwardly near our front door. He held a small overnight bag. That detail told me this was not an unexpected visit. He had arrived prepared. Nicole glanced between us. "Adam, this is Troy." He gave me a cautious nod. Hey, I said. The apartment smelled like roasted chicken and garlic. I had gotten home early and decided to cook, something I had not done in years. Nicole and I usually relied on takeout. Cooking that evening was supposed to keep me busy, but I had made enough for two. I told myself it was an accident. It wasn't. Some part of me had expected Nicole to come home alone. I imagined we might sit across from each other, share a quiet meal, and prove that ending the relationship had not erased the care between us. Instead, she arrived with Troy. Nicole looked at the table. "You cooked?" "Yeah. For both of us. I made too much." Her expression shifted slightly. She knew I was lying, but neither of us acknowledged it. Troy raised one hand. "I don't want to interrupt anything. I can leave." Nicole looked at me. "Is it okay if he eats with us?" My chest tightened. I wanted to tell her none of this was okay. It had only been 7 days since we sat on our couch and ended 6 years together. But I did not want to expose how much the situation affected me, especially in front of him. "There's enough food," I said. I did not sit with them. I carried my plate into the study, opened my laptop, and pretended to work. From the next room, I heard silverware tapping against plates and chairs scraping across the floor. Troy complimented the chicken. Nicole laughed softly. "You should tell Adam. He made it. This is really good," Troy called. I stared at the blank screen. "Thanks." My hands were trembling, so I tucked them beneath the desk. I kept reminding myself that Nicole and I had broken up. The relationship was over. I understood that logically. Emotionally, I had not caught up. Our breakup had happened after another argument that started with something minor and turned into a list of everything we had failed to resolve. Nicole said I never listened until she became angry. I said she saved every frustration until there was no way to discuss it calmly. She accused me of withdrawing whenever conversations became difficult. I told her I was tired of feeling as though every mistake proved I did not love her. Eventually, the anger burned itself out. We sat at opposite ends of the couch, too exhausted to continue. "We keep doing this," she said. "I know. We apologize, things improve, and then we end up back here." I looked down at my hands. "What are you saying?" Nicole wiped her face. "I don't think love is enough anymore." I did not argue. Deep down, I knew she was right. We cared about each other, but we had spent years repeating the same cycle. So we ended it. We even agreed to remain friends. That sounded mature until we had to continue living under the same roof. Our lease still had several months remaining. Neither of us could leave immediately without creating financial problems, so we agreed to stay temporarily while deciding what to do. I moved into the spare bedroom. Nicole remained in the bedroom we had shared. We discussed rent, bills, groceries, and personal space. We never discussed dating. Neither of us expected it to matter after only 1 week. When dinner ended, I heard dishes being placed beside the sink. Troy offered to help clean, but Nicole told him she would handle it later. I thought he was about to leave. Then Nicole appeared in the study doorway. Her fingers were linked together in front of her. "Can I ask you something?" I already knew I would not like the question. "What?" She glanced toward the hallway before looking back at me. "Can he stay the night?" For several seconds, I could not speak. My eyes moved to the overnight bag sitting near the front door. The request had been planned before she came home. Dinner had only delayed it. Nicole lowered her voice. "You can say no. That should have made it easier." It didn't. Troy was close enough to hear us. If I refused, I imagined Nicole accusing me of trying to control her after the breakup. I imagined him watching me admit that I was still in love with someone who had already invited another man into our home. I felt cornered by a situation I had never agreed to face. So I nodded. "Fine." Nicole studied me. "Are you sure?" "No," I wanted to say. Instead, I answered, "It's your room." She thanked me. Then she returned to Troy. Their footsteps moved down the hallway. I watched their shadows pass beneath the study door. They stopped outside the bedroom that had been ours for 6 years. That room still held the dresser we chose together, and the lamp Nicole insisted we needed. A photograph from our 5th anniversary remained on the shelf because either of us had decided who should take it. I heard the door open. A moment later it closed. The click of the lock was soft. I stood so quickly that the chair struck the wall. I grabbed my keys, wallet, and phone and walked out without packing anything. The hallway felt too narrow. I ignored the elevator and took the stairs because waiting in one place seemed impossible. By the time I reached my car, I was struggling to breathe. I sat behind the wheel, gripping it with both hands. For a moment, anger took over. I pictured myself returning upstairs and demanding that Troy leave. I imagined telling Nicole that being single did not give her permission to humiliate me inside the apartment we still shared. But the anger quickly gave way to shame. I had cooked for her. I had set 2 places at the table. While I imagined one final peaceful evening together, she had been arranging for another man to spend the night. I started the car and drove. I had no destination. I kept moving because I did not know what else to do. The streets became unfamiliar, but I did not care. At some point, my vision blurred. I pulled over and leaned forward until my forehead rested against the steering wheel. I cried harder than I had since the breakup. Part of me felt ridiculous. Nicole had not broken a promise we clearly made. She was no longer my girlfriend. But knowing that did not make it easier to picture her with someone else in the room where we had once planned our future. My phone buzzed in the cup holder. Nicole had sent a message. "Where did you go?" I ignored it. Another appeared several minutes later. "Are you coming back tonight?" I turned the phone face down. I considered going to a bar, but I knew alcohol would make everything worse. I found a small hotel instead. The woman at the front desk took one look at me and handed me a key without making conversation. Inside the room, I sat on the edge of the bed and checked my phone. Nicole had sent another message. "I'm sorry if tonight made you uncomfortable. I honestly didn't think it would affect you this much." I read it twice. Then a third time. How could she not know? She had known me for 6 years. She could usually tell when something bothered me before I admitted it. Yet she believed I could watch her bring someone home and feel nothing. Then another possibility entered my mind. Maybe she had known exactly how it would affect me. Maybe she wanted to make the breakup feel final. I almost called her, but stopped before pressing the button. I did not want to hear Troy in the background. I did not want to ask whether she had known him before we broke up. Whatever answer she gave would only create more questions. Instead, I called my older sister. Sophie answered almost immediately. "Adam? Hey." She became quiet. "What happened? Why do you think something happened?" "Because you never call this late." I tried to answer, but my voice broke. Her tone changed. "Where are you?" "At a hotel." "Why?" "Nicole and I broke up." There was a pause. "When?" "Last week." "And you didn't tell us?" "I didn't know how." Nicole had become part of my family. She attended birthdays, holidays, and weekend dinners. She and my sisters exchanged messages that had nothing to do with me. She was the first serious partner I had ever brought into their lives. Telling them we had ended felt like taking someone away from them too. Sophie lowered her voice. "Why aren't you at the apartment?" "She brought someone home." "Who?" "A man." "To the apartment?" "Yes." "Tonight?" "Yes." Sophie swore under her breath. Then she began asking questions. Did Nicole know him before the breakup? Was he still there? Had she asked whether I was comfortable? I could not answer most of them. "I need help moving tomorrow," I said. "You're leaving?" "I can't stay there after this." "Of course you can't. I don't want you confronting her." "Adam, I only want my belongings. I don't want another fight." Sophie exhaled. "Fine. I won't call her." "Thank you. But Andrea and I are both coming." "I don't need both of you. You're getting both of us." She ended the call before I could argue. I slept for less than 2 hours. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Troy's overnight bag beside our front door. By morning, another message from Nicole waited on my phone. "We need to talk before you decide anything." I did not answer. Sophie and Andrea arrived shortly after sunrise. Andrea entered the hotel room carrying coffee, folded boxes, and a roll of packing tape. "I'm not going to yell at her," she announced. Sophie looked at her. "That usually means you're planning to yell at her." I said I won't. I accepted the coffee. "Please keep this calm." Andrea studied my face. Her anger softened. "We'll follow your lead." The drive back to the apartment felt too short. When we arrived, I saw that Nicole was home. I did not know whether Troy was still there. My hand shook as I unlocked the door. Before I could push it open, Nicole opened it from inside. She looked tired. Her hair was tied back, and she was still wearing the shirt from the previous night. Her eyes moved from me to the boxes in my sister's arms. "You told them I needed help. You're moving out?" "Yes." Nicole looked towards Sophie and Andrea. "Can Adam and I talk privately?" I turned to my sisters. "Please start in the spare room." Andrea did not move at first, but Sophie guided her down the hallway. Nicole waited until they were gone. Troy left early, she said. I had not asked. Okay. I'm sorry. For which part? Her face tightened. For bringing him here. You should be. I thought you were all right with it. I froze. You agreed. You arrived with an overnight bag already packed for him. What was I supposed to do? Argue while he stood there? I said you could refuse. After you brought him inside and fed him the dinner I cooked. I didn't know the dinner was for me. There were 2 plates. You said you made too much. What else could I say? Nicole crossed her arms. I didn't realize you still wanted the relationship. That does not mean I stopped feeling anything. You agreed we should break up. I did. The truth hurt both of us. She looked away. Then why does it matter if I see someone? Because it had been 7 days. I wasn't trying to replace you. He spent the night in the room we shared. It isn't our room anymore. The words landed harder than if she had shouted. For a moment neither of us spoke. Then I asked the question that had followed me all night. Were you seeing him before we broke up? No. The answer came quickly. How long have you known him? A few months. How did you meet? Through mutual friends. Did you talk to him about us? Nicole hesitated. Sometimes. That pause tightened my stomach. When did you tell him we broke up? The day after. I nodded slowly. So he knew almost immediately. He checked on me. We started talking more. And less than a week later he was here. I know how it looks. How else should it look? Nothing happened while we were together. I wanted to believe her. After 6 years I thought I knew when Nicole was lying. But I had also believed she would never bring another man into our apartment, while I was still living there. Did Troy know I was here? Yes. Did he know we had only been separated for a week? I told him it was recent. That is not an answer. She looked down. He didn't know it had only been 7 days until last night. And he still stayed. He offered to leave. You told him not to. Nicole did not deny it. Why? I asked. Her shoulders lowered. I didn't want to be alone. That was the reason. Not love. Not revenge. She was afraid of sitting with the same silence that had been crushing me, so she found someone willing to fill it. I was alone, I said. I know. No, Nicole. You had someone beside you. I was sitting in the next room listening. Her eyes filled. I was hurting too. Then you should have understood. I made a selfish decision. Yes. I'm sorry. I believed she regretted hurting me. I was less certain she regretted bringing Troy home. Sophie emerged from the hallway carrying a box of clothes. Where should this go? My car. Nicole looked at me. You don't have to leave today. We can make rules. No visitors. Separate schedules. Whatever you need. You should have considered that before last night. I'm considering it now. It's too late. I won't bring him back. For how long? She did not answer. That settled the matter. The next 2 hours passed quietly. My sisters packed my clothes, documents, electronics, and personal belongings. We left furniture and anything jointly purchased until Nicole and I could divide it properly. Andrea barely looked at her. Sophie remained polite, but distant. In the spare bedroom, Andrea found a box filled with photographs. She picked up one from our first year together. Nicole and I were standing at a summer festival, sunburned and laughing. Her arms were around my neck. Do you want these? Andrea asked. I took the photograph. I remembered that day clearly. We got lost looking for the parking lot and blamed each other until the argument became funny. 6 years had become a box neither of us knew how to divide. Put it in the car, I said. I was not ready to decide what the pictures meant. When the final box was packed, I walked through the apartment one last time. The bedroom door was open. The anniversary photograph that had been on the shelf was gone. I did not know when Nicole had removed it. I did not ask. She stood near the front door. Where will you go? I'll stay with Sophie until I find somewhere. What about the lease? I'll continue paying my share until we speak to the landlord and arrange a transfer. You shouldn't have to pay for somewhere you aren't living. My name is still on the agreement. I may be able to take over. Then we'll handle it properly. She nodded. For the first time that morning, we sounded like two people ending a contract rather than a life together. I lifted the last box. Adam. I stopped. I really am sorry. I looked at her. Do you regret bringing him here, or do you regret that I couldn't pretend it didn't hurt? Her lips parted. No answer came. That hesitation was enough. Take care of yourself, Nicole. Sophie held the door open. As I entered the hallway, Nicole called my name again. I kept walking. For the next few weeks, I stayed with Sophie. I searched for an apartment and spoke to Nicole only when necessary. She never admitted to cheating. I never found evidence that she had. As far as I knew, she told the truth. Whatever happened between her and Troy began after our relationship ended. Eventually, Nicole took over the lease. I signed the paperwork and collected the rest of my belongings while she was away. I left the dining table behind. About a month after I moved out, Nicole sent me another message. "I miss talking to you." I stared at it for most of the evening. I typed a reply, deleted it, and placed my phone face down. Several weeks later, I moved into a small apartment of my own. On my first night there, I ordered takeout and ate on the floor because I had not bought a table. The place was silent. For 6 years, someone had known when I was coming home. Someone had asked what I wanted for dinner or complained that I left my shoes near the door. Now nobody was waiting. Nicole's message remained unanswered. Sometimes I still opened it. I did not know whether she had brought Troy home because she wanted to hurt me, because she had already detached from our relationship, or because she was terrified of being alone. Perhaps there was no hidden motive. Perhaps she was simply careless with the feelings of someone she no longer considered her responsibility. I left because staying would have destroyed what little dignity I had left. But even now, I cannot decide which possibility hurts more. That after 6 years together, Nicole knew exactly what bringing him home would do to me. Or that she honestly never thought about me at all.